Thanksgiving, families coming together. Thanksgiving is a holiday celebrated by many people in the United States and Canada. In the United States, it is celebrated on the fourth Thursday in November and marks the start of the Christmas season. Some people celebrate Thanksgiving to remember the first harvest of the Pilgrims and Puritans, groups of people from England who immigrated to North America in the 1600s. Some people recreate the first Thanksgiving and dress up as Pilgrims, Puritans, and the Native Americans who are said to have helped the new arrivals find food to survive their first winter. Most people, however, see Thanksgiving as one day a year to reflect upon what they are thankful for. Some families will sit together and take turns saying aloud what they are thankful for. An important part of Thanksgiving is families coming together. Extended family members often travel long distances to share the day with their loved ones. In the United States, Thanksgiving is the busiest travel day of the year. People travel in planes, trains, buses, and cars to share a very special meal, Thanksgiving dinner. What most Thanksgiving celebrations have in common is the food. On Thanksgiving, many families prepare large, elaborate dinners to share with friends and loved ones. Many of these dinners use ingredients associated with the fall harvest, like cranberries, potatoes, sweet potatoes, corn, and blueberries. Roast turkey is the traditional meat served. It is so common that some people call Thanksgiving Day Turkey Day. The turkey is usually served with gravy and stuffing. Pies are usually served for dessert. The most common pies served are sweet potato, apple, pecan, and pumpkin. Thanksgiving is not just celebrated in the privacy of people's homes. Every year, the President of the United States pardons a turkey, saving it from becoming someone's meal. In New York City, Macy's, a department store, holds a large parade with huge balloons of various cartoon characters floating down the street. Halloween is on October 31st. It is also called All Hallows Eve or All Saints Eve. This is because, according to some, the holiday has its roots in a Christian holiday that remembers the dead. Others say the holiday has its roots in the ancient harvest season traditions of Ireland. In the US, though, the focus is less on memories of the dearly departed or agriculture. It is about kids dressing up in scary costumes and going door to door asking for candy. This is called trick-or-treating. When children knock on the door of a house or ring the doorbell, they usually say, "Trick or treat." The trick part is a fake threat signaling that the kids will commit a prank if they aren't given something delicious. Homeowners then give the children candy, raisins, or some other food treat. Many homeowners decorate their houses to prepare for the holiday and let kids know that they are participating and can ring the bell for candy. Traditional decorations often include jack-o'-lanterns, which are pumpkins with faces carved into them, and candles inside. Jack-o'-lanterns were thought to scare away evil spirits when Halloween was first celebrated among the ancient Christians. Also, turnips, not pumpkins, were originally used. People often decorate using the colors black and orange. Halloween is not just for kids. Adults get in on the fun by attending costume parties. There are often contests for who has the best costume. There are also games bobbing for apples, where people have to get an apple using only their teeth from a large bucket of water. Other people celebrate by scaring themselves by going to haunted houses, homes where people dressed up as ghosts, zombies, and werewolves, and jump out to frighten guests. People also tell scary stories or watch horror movies. One country, many taxes. Taxes are special fees charged by a government on the people who live in a country, state, or city. These fees help pay for public services like police, road and bridge repair, and public schools. In the United States, people have to pay national, state, and local taxes. Income tax is a tax applied to how much money a person earns in a year. There are both federal and state income taxes. These have to be paid every year by April 15th. There are special forms the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, the government agency in charge of collecting taxes, asks people to fill out. There are tax credits that people with low income, college students, and parents can get. These credits could mean actually getting money back from the government. This money is called a tax refund. People can get both a federal and state tax refund. Anyone who works has to be taxed, regardless of the immigration status. Not paying income taxes could mean a fine or even jail time. Payroll taxes are taxes that are taken right out of a person's paycheck. There are federal and state payroll taxes. These include Social Security and Medicare taxes. Social Security taxes pay for the retirement and disability benefits received by millions of Americans each year. Medicare taxes pay for the federal health insurance program that covers the elderly and the disabled. People who own houses pay property taxes. The amount paid depends on how much the property is worth. This tax is usually paid once a year. Sales tax is a tax almost everyone pays. Sales tax is a specific extra percentage charged on nearly all purchases. Everything from soap to furniture has a sales tax attached when bought. The amount of the sales tax is different across states and cities. Veterans Day, a holiday honoring all soldiers. Veterans Day is an official United States holiday observed on November 11th every year, while Memorial Day remembers those who have died while serving in any of the branches of the U.S. Armed Forces, Army, Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard. Veterans Day honors all members of the armed forces, especially the living. As a U.S. federal holiday, government offices and schools are closed, and most people have the day off from work. Banks are also closed. If November 11th falls on a Sunday, then the holiday is observed on the following Monday. The holiday was first observed after World War I, which ended on November 11th, 1918. It was called Armistice Day then, and was more about celebrating the absence of war and honoring those that served in that one war. It didn't become known as Veterans Day until 1954, after World War II and the Korean War, when there were many more members of the armed forces. Many restaurants offer free meals to veterans on the date. There is always a special ceremony at Arlington National Military Cemetery in Washington, D.C. This ceremony involves a wreath being placed over the grave of the unknown soldier. Many major cities also hold parades on this date. The U.S. flag is usually flown at half-mast as a remembrance to those soldiers who have died, and many ceremonies observe a moment of silence for the same reason. In Canada, the holiday is called Remembrance Day. One symbol of the day is the poppy flower. The red poppy flower is said to represent or be a symbol of the blood of soldiers. Many people wear or give out poppy flowers on the day. Chanukah, a holiday of lights, Chanukah, which can also be spelled as Hanukkah, is an 8-day Jewish holiday. It is known as the Festival of Lights, which celebrates the dedication of an ancient Jewish temple in Jerusalem thousands of years ago. According to the Hebrew or Jewish Bible, a miracle took place then. A 1-day supply of oil miraculously lasted 8 days. The dates of Hanukkah always change, but usually occur anywhere in late November to late December. The main way people observe the holiday is by lighting a candle on a candelabra, a special candle holder with space for 9 candles on each of the 8 nights. This candelabra is called a menorah. Now there are also electric menorahs. Some people also use oil lamps. The 9th candle space is usually higher than the others and is lit on every night. This 9th candle is there so that people can see the other candles they are lighting. So, 2 lights are lit on the first night, 3 on the second, and so on. Some families have the head of household light the candles. Other families share the responsibility. The menorah is supposed to be placed somewhere visible, like in a window facing the street. The candles are supposed to stay lit for at least 30 minutes after it gets dark. There are also special prayers people say, and holy songs sung when the candles are lit. Schools and government offices are open for Hanukkah, since the observances happen at night. Some families exchange gifts on each night of the holiday. Some foods traditionally eaten on Hanukkah include latkes, fried potato pancakes, and donuts. These and other fried foods are eaten because they are cooked in oil and remind people of the oil that lasted for 8 nights. Children play with a special 4-sided spinning top called a dreidel. Lottery, a chance at millions. In the United States, 43 states, Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands all have their own lottery. A lottery is used for states to raise money. Licensed stores sell numbered tickets, or people can pay to choose their own numbers. When you let a machine pick your numbers, it is usually called a quick pick. Many people play lucky numbers, numbers associated with birth dates or other important numbers to them. The money earned from selling lottery tickets goes to pay for schools, roads, bridges, and other public services. Once a week or more, a drawing is held where the numbers are randomly picked. If your ticket has those numbers, you could win a cash prize. There are different types of lotteries, such as Powerball, Mega Millions, and Lotto. Powerball and Mega Millions are known for their large payouts. There are also instant lottery tickets that are scratch-off cards. The winnings tend to be less money, but they are extremely popular. In the United States, you can play the lottery or buy a ticket if you are 18 years or older. If you win, usually you have the option of being paid the entire amount in one lump sum or of being paid smaller amounts over a number of years. Lottery winnings are taxable, meaning the amount you actually get is smaller than the jackpot number. People can buy lottery tickets or play the lottery at many convenience stores. Lotteries are also very popular since they advertise. There are many television commercials, radio commercials, and billboards urging people to play. Lotteries have been controversial since they are essentially a form of legalized gambling. There is concern that it can lead to people becoming addicted to gambling. There are also illegal lottery games, usually run by some forms of organized crime. Medical insurance, making it easier to get health care. Health insurance is one way to pay for health care. Health care includes visits to the doctor, prescription medication, and emergency services. People can pay for medicine and doctor visits directly in cash, or they can use health insurance. Health insurance usually means you pay less for these services. There are different types of health insurance. At some jobs, companies offer health insurance plans as part of a benefits package. Individuals can also buy health insurance. The elderly and disabled can get government-run health insurance through programs like Medicaid and Medicare. There are many different health insurance companies or plans. Each health plan has a set of doctors they work with. Once a person picks a plan, they pay a premium, which is a fixed amount of money every month. Once in a plan, a person picks a doctor they want to see from that plan. That doctor is the person's primary care provider. Obamacare, or the Affordable Care Act, is a recently passed law that makes it easier for people to get health insurance. The law requires all Americans have health insurance by 2014. Those that do not get health insurance by the end of the year will have to pay a fine in the form of an extra tax when they file their income taxes. Through Obamacare, people can still get insurance through their jobs, privately, or through Medicaid and Medicare. They can also buy health insurance through state marketplaces, where people can get help choosing a plan based on their income and healthcare needs. These marketplaces also create an easy way to compare what different plans offer. If people cannot afford to buy health insurance, they may qualify for government programs that offer free health insurance, like Medicaid, Medicare, or for children, a special program called the Children's Health Insurance Program. SHIP. Immigration. A broken system. Immigration in the United States is a complicated and controversial issue. Since the founding of the country, people have come from different countries in search of a better life and opportunities. Immigration laws, however, are always changing and are complicated. This leads to many people coming into the US without proper legal status. While some people call immigrants who come and stay in the US without the proper papers illegals, many consider this term offensive. The more acceptable term is undocumented, since they do not have the correct legal documents. It is estimated that there are more than 11 million undocumented people in the United States. While some people will say there is no reason for immigrants to be undocumented in the US, there are limits on the number of green cards or legal permanent resident cards people from certain countries can get. There are also long waiting lists, up to 14 years in some cases, for people coming from certain countries to apply for legal status in the US. Additionally, there are a limited amount of visas or permits for people coming into the US with manual labor skills. Millions of undocumented people have been deported or sent back to their country of origin under President Obama. In 2013, the US Senate passed an immigration reform bill. The law adds extra border security along the US-Mexico border and also makes it easier for immigrants to become citizens. The bill, which also has to be approved by the House of Representatives, has not yet been presented or voted on by Congress. Because of this, many are asking President Obama to take action to protect some of the undocumented, many of whom have been in the US for many years and have children that are US citizens. Community colleges. 1. The American community college system is a place for second chances. Community colleges are two-year schools that thrived in California after the end of World War II. Many American military personnel were returning to civilian life after their service to the country. Some of these young people decided not to go to college after high school so that they could serve their country during that time of need. When they returned, many of them turned to the community college system in California to continue their education. The United States government introduced the GI Bill, at that time giving returning servicemen and women educational benefits to help them get back to school. Soon community colleges and new school districts began appearing throughout the country. Community colleges helped ease returning military personnel back into college life. It was a low-cost, less stressful alternative to going back to a four-year university. Today, community colleges attract students from all parts of the world. In California, a large population of students comes from Asia and Latin America. These schools provide a second chance to international students who may have experienced difficulties attending college in their native countries. American students who may have not done well academically in high school and did not enter a university can turn to community college for a second chance too. Community college. 2. These days, many people attend community colleges with plans to transfer to a four-year college or university to get a bachelor's degree. It's kind of like a stepping stone. There are many reasons why people do this. One reason is that some community colleges have transfer agreements with private and state colleges and universities that guarantee admission. Even if a community college doesn't have that agreement of a guaranteed spot in a four-year college, it has articulation agreements with four-year schools. These agreements tell you exactly what classes a student in a community college needs to take in order to be able to transfer. These agreements make sure that students don't waste time taking classes that won't transfer. Most of these classes one needs to take before transferring are general education classes, like math and English. Another reason why many students start their undergraduate degree at a community college is a financial one. A 4-year college or university is much more expensive than a 2-year college. This is especially true for immigrant students who don't qualify for financial aid, loans, or scholarships. Also, community colleges tend to offer more evening classes, so they can accommodate people who have to work while attending school. They are also a good option for older students with families who need a more flexible schedule while taking care of children. Community colleges also tend to be commuter schools, meaning people don't have to live on campus in dorms. Attending a community college means you can still live at home with your parents, which can save the family a huge amount of money. If a student didn't do well in high school, a community college would provide him or her with another opportunity to enter a 4-year university. Community colleges offer many classes to help students develop their math and writing skills. When you attend a 4-year college, you're expected to have those skills already. Community college will prepare students to successfully graduate from a 4-year school. Elementary schools in the US. Most children in the US begin school at age 5 when they go to kindergarten. This is the beginning of elementary or primary school. Most children stay in elementary schools till they are about 11 years old. Elementary schools are divided by grades. The youngest children begin in kindergarten at 5, and then go to 1st grade, 2nd grade, and so on. Most elementary schools go up to 5th or 6th grade. The focus of an elementary school is basic academic and socialization skills. Mostly, children learn how to read, write, count, add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Students also learn the rules of English grammar, spelling, and vocabulary. Children also learn basic social studies or history, science, art, and music skills, and participate in gym or physical education. In elementary schools, children also learn how to follow directions, share, and work in groups. Students usually stay in one classroom all day, with one teacher who stays with them throughout the year. Students may leave the classroom to visit the school library, the school gym, and attend special science, art, and music classes. Students also usually leave the classroom for lunch and recess. For lunch, students sit at tables, separated by grade, in a large cafeteria. Recess is usually a half hour when children go out into a yard to play. The typical school day starts at about 8:00 in the morning and ends at about 3:00 p.m. Students go to school from Monday to Friday and have the weekends off. Elementary school teachers are licensed by the state where they work. They have to graduate from college or even graduate school, taking special classes in early childhood and elementary education. Before teachers can be in a classroom with students, they have to pass a background check and take an exam. Elementary schools in the USA, middle schools in the US. Once a child finishes 5th or 6th grade in elementary school, they graduate and go on to middle school or junior high school. This school is a separate building or set of buildings. Most students in middle school are between the ages of 10 and 14. The grade system continues in middle school. Middle school usually starts with 6th or 7th grade and ends with 8th grade. While they are less common, some elementary schools go from kindergarten to 8th grade. Most students are assigned a middle school based on where they live. However, there are charter, private, and specialized public middle schools that have an application process. The purpose of middle school is to provide a transition period between elementary school and high school. Middle school prepares students for high school life. In middle school, students don't stay in one classroom all day with one teacher. Students change classrooms for different subjects and have different teachers for each subject. In middle school, some students may even be able to choose some of their own classes, called electives. There is a set of core classes that all students have to take. These include English, math, science, and social studies or history classes. Gym or physical education classes are also required. A common feature of middle school is a homeroom, which is a classroom students visit at a scheduled time once a day or once a week. Our homeroom teacher takes attendance and makes announcements of things students need to know. The homeroom also helps students feel like there is one common place and one common teacher they see regularly. This is to help with the transition from elementary school to secondary school. Once a student finishes middle school, they have a graduation ceremony and go to a high school assigned to them, or a high school they picked. High school in the U.S. After middle or junior high school, U.S. students go to high school. Going to school is free in the United States, including high schools. Students do not need to pay tuitions, and even textbooks and lunches are free. Of course, we are talking about public schools. If parents choose to send their kids to private schools, they need to pay very expensive tuitions. High school is the last 4 years of school that students in the U.S. are required to attend by law. High school students are divided by grades. It begins at 9th grade and finishes with 12th grade. Some high schools, even public high schools, have admission exams or an application process. Public schools admit students based on where they live. In order to successfully complete high school, students have to complete a series of core classes, including math, English, science, history, a foreign language, and gym or physical education. Students usually can also choose to take electives or specialized courses in a subject that interests them. Some high schools in the U.S. have exit exams that students are required to pass, in addition to completing their courses, in order to graduate and earn a high school diploma. A law called the No Child Left Behind Act requires high schools that get federal money to make students take a standardized exam every year. A high school diploma is required for students who want to continue on to college and is considered a minimum requirement for any jobs. High school's classes are designed to prepare students for college. Some high schools offer specialized skills so that students can find work after graduation without going to college. Those are called vocational high schools. In high school, some students have the opportunity to take advanced placement, AP, classes. These are college-level classes. If the students pass an exam after taking AP classes, they can get college credit. In high school, students move from class to class throughout the school day. Homeschooling. Not every parent looks forward to the day when their child goes off to school. In fact, some parents are not sending their students to school at all. Instead, they are choosing to teach their children at home. This is called homeschooling. Parents, caregivers, or private tutors educate children individually at home, instead of sending them off to be formally educated in public or private schools. In the US, only about 3% of children are homeschooled. There are many reasons why some parents choose to homeschool. One reason is that some parents do not feel their children are safe in school because of bullying and a growing trend of police in school. Other parents want their child's education to be based on their religion or moral beliefs. Yet other parents feel like the education in school is not good enough. Homeschooling is also seen as a choice for families that live in rural areas and families that travel, like actors. There are many different ways to homeschool, and homeschooling allows parents to customize lessons based on their children's needs. Families can purchase textbooks to use or create their own materials. Some parents follow a philosophy called unschooling, which allows a child to determine when and how they want to learn based on their natural curiosity. Some worry that homeschooling means students won't have opportunities to socialize. Answer this concern. Some families have created cooperatives where a group of homeschooled students will learn and play together and participate in activities that would normally happen in school, like field trips and prom. Being homeschooled doesn't mean a student cannot go to college. Most colleges accept homeschooled students. It is important, however, for parents and students to create a portfolio or proof of what has been learned. Parent-teacher conferences. When parents send their children to school, often they don't know what happens day to day. Parents rely on what their children tell them about how they are doing and what they are learning. Generally, schools will host parent-teacher conferences at least twice a year. Parent-teacher conferences are short meetings between parents and their children's teachers. Usually, parent-teacher conferences are held when teachers give out a student's grades for the term. The parent-teacher conferences give teachers an opportunity to let parents know how their child is doing. A teacher will let a parent know the student's strengths and bring to the parent's attention any problems with grades or behavior. The meetings also offer parents the opportunity to ask questions and see what their child is learning. When it is almost time for parent-teacher conferences, the school will send parents a note and usually give them an appointment time. There are appointments during the day and in the evening. Evening appointments are used for parents who work during the day. Parent-teacher conferences do not last very long. Normally, they do not last longer than 10 minutes. This is why it is important for parents to make sure they arrive at their appointments on time and come prepared with questions. If a parent needs more than 10 minutes, he or she should try to schedule another meeting with the teacher. Keeping a teacher for more than 10 minutes when there are parents waiting is disrespectful. Most children do not go along with their parents to the meetings. This allows both the parent and teacher to talk honestly about the child's progress without making the child feel bad. Usually a teacher will offer advice to the parent on how to support their child's education. Private schools. An expensive educational alternative. Public schools are available for kids from kindergarten through 12th grade free of charge. However, many families choose to pay for their children's primary and secondary education by sending them to private schools. There are many different types of private schools and many different reasons why parents send their kids there. Some private schools are military type, and yet others are boarding schools where students live on campus. Some private schools are affiliated with a certain religion. These schools teach a specific faith's beliefs and traditions, as well as the regular academic subjects. There are schools run by Catholics, Protestants, Jewish people, Muslims, and Orthodox Christians. There are also private schools that specialize in teaching disabled students. Some parents choose private schools because they feel that they offer a better education than public schools. Others choose private schools because they offer a different type of curriculum. Waldorf schools, for example, only let children play and use items made of natural materials. Private schools are also called independent schools or non-state schools because they are not run by local, state, or national governments. They can pick what students to go to their schools. They do this through admission examinations and interviews. There is often an admissions application. Some private schools accept anyone who can pay tuition to send their children there. Some schools charge up to $45,000 a year. Private schools charge tuition because they do not get any money collected from local, state, and national taxes. Some private schools offer a limited number of scholarships to help pay for school. Many of these scholarships are need-based, meaning for students who can't afford the tuition. Other scholarships are offered for students with very good grades, or for students that have a talent in a sport or art. The California College and University System. California is the largest state in the United States of America. It is home to more than 10% of the country's total population. It also has the largest education system in the country. The college and university system is divided into 4 parts. Those parts are the University of California system, the California State University system, the community college system, and private institutions. The UC system has more than 230,000 students at its 10 campuses. It is considered the more prestigious system in the state. It includes top universities like UC Berkeley and the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA. Both schools rank in the top 25 universities in the country, with Berkeley in the top 10. A degree from the UC system is highly sought, and the academic standards are higher than the other systems. They are also more expensive. The California State Universities counts 23 universities in its system. It is a diversified system that includes 2 polytechnic universities and a maritime university. These schools offer vocational and maritime education, but also offer traditional academic programs. The system's enrollment is approximately 450,000 students, with about 45,000 faculty members. The California Community Colleges system is the largest systems of higher education in the state and the world. It boasts 112 campuses and serves approximately 2.4 million students. It offers transfer degrees, vocational training, and associate's degree programs. California is also home to a large number of privately owned and operated schools. These schools have no ties to the state school system, but some do accept transfer students from community colleges. The most notable and prestigious schools in the state are Stanford University in Palo Alto and the University of Southern California in Los Angeles. Driving in the United States. Driving in the US can be confusing not just because of all the rules and laws that drivers must follow, but also because of driving customs. Many people in the US are really dependent on their cars to get to work and school. In fact, most American workers spend an hour driving to work each day. In order to drive in the US, you have to go to your local Department of Motor Vehicles first and take a written test to get your learner's permit. If you pass this test, you can practice driving so you can pass a road test and get your license. The Department of Motor Vehicles, or DMV, has free booklets you can go and get to study for your learner's permit. You can also access the information online and even take a practice written exam. To prepare for the road test, you can have a friend teach you to drive or pay to take classes at a driving school. You cannot, however, practice driving by yourself. If you are caught driving with only a learner's permit, you can get into trouble with the law. Once you get your driver's license in one state, you can use it to drive in all of the United States. Wherever you drive, you will see signs posted along the road indicating the speed limit. These numbers are not a suggestion. Generally, you can drive faster on a highway than on local streets. Local police use special equipment to detect your speed. If they detect you are speeding or driving over the speed limit, police can stop you and give you a ticket. You will have to pay a fine, and some of the fines are more than $100. The lines painted on the road are not just to keep cars in their lanes. They send a message. For example, a double solid yellow line means that it is against the law to pass another car here. Pasadena Rose Parade. Each New Year's Day, the city of Pasadena in California hosts a celebration to welcome the year with a series of events that includes the Rose Parade. The parade takes place in the center of the city on Colorado BLVD. and features numerous floats, marching bands, equestrian teams, celebrities, and honorees. It is the most popular parade in the country. It has spawned several other New Year's Day parades throughout the country. In Miami, it's the Orange Bowl Parade. In New Orleans, it is the Sugar Bowl Parade. In Arizona, it's called the Fiesta Bowl Parade. However, the Rose Parade is the oldest and best parade. Many people like to camp out in tents or in sleeping bags the night before to get the best locations to view the Rose Parade. To brave the cold weather, some people bring portable heaters to keep them warm. It can get into the low 40s at night in Pasadena during the winter. So many people dress warm for the occasion. Food is another big feature at the pre-parade celebration on New Year's Eve. People bring their portable grills to cook their favorite outdoor meals right on the sidewalk. The rich aroma of the grilling food fills the night air, and most people are willing to share their food with other overnight campers. It is fun to sample different dishes from other grillers. As night turns into morning, there is still electricity in the air. People are excited about the start of the parade, which begins at 8 a.m. sharp. The floats are beautifully decorated in flowers, while the dancers and other performers dress in colorful costumes, some of which are made just for the parade. The marching bands come from nearby cities, high schools, and colleges. It is considered a great honor to participate in the Rose Parade. Selfies. The self-portrait is nothing new. Painters and photographers have always used themselves as subjects. Today, however, almost everyone walks around with a camera in his or her pocket. This is because most cell phones have cameras on them. The fact that most people have cell phone cameras with them all the time has led to the rise of the selfie. A selfie is a self-portrait, usually taken with a cell phone. Since the pictures are usually taken on a cell phone, many people tend to share these photographs with friends and even strangers on different social networking websites. Some of the popular social networking platforms people use to share selfies include Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. People usually take selfies when they are engaged in normal day-to-day activities. They take selfies of their commutes to work or school. People take selfies of themselves eating. Other people take selfies to show what they are wearing or whom they are hanging out with. The most common way to take a selfie is by holding a cell phone at arm's length. Some people take selfies by taking a picture of their reflection in a mirror. In these pictures, you can usually see the phone the person is taking a picture with. Selfies taken using a mirror often are taken in a bathroom, which some people think is offensive. The bathroom is a very private place, not a place to take pictures. Some people think that selfies are a sign that people are becoming vain or superficial. It is not often that people take pictures of themselves that make them look bad. When people take pictures of themselves, they usually are trying to present themselves in the best light. However, some people use selfies to show what they really look like. Some people are trying to challenge stereotypes of what makes someone attractive. Apartment pets. In US cities like New York City and Los Angeles, many people live in small apartments. Despite not having homes with big yards, some apartment dwellers still seek the companionship that domesticated animals, like dogs and cats, offer. Some people feel that having a pet, even in a small space, is good for teaching children responsibility. However, many landlords forbid tenants from having pets, specifically cats and dogs, because of the damage the animals can do to carpets. Some landlords even forbid birds because of the noise they make. Many landlords charge an extra fee, known as a pet deposit, to tenants who want to keep pets. This is to pay for repairs or cleaning caused by the pet. Many times, apartment dwellers will choose animals, like fish, hermit crabs, guinea pigs, or hamsters, that make little noise, little mess, and won't chew up the furniture. other people keep lizards as pets, since they don't require much space and can be kept in small cages or tanks. Another benefit of these smaller pets is that they don't need to be walked. However, some people who live in apartments have pets that are not so ordinary. Some of these less than ordinary pets include mammals like hedgehogs, amphibians like frogs, and spiders like tarantulas. Not all exotic pets are legal though. In order to maintain public safety, some cities and states have laws banning specific animals as pets. New York City, for example, bans people from keeping ferrets, snapping turtles, pythons, and scorpions as pets. It seems unlikely that a family would have a polar bear named Fluffy or a whale named Bubbles as a pet. New York City has specific laws banning these wild animals from residences. These laws exist for a good reason. In 2003, a man in a Manhattan apartment was discovered to have a 350-pound Bengal tiger as a pet. Non-traditional wakes. A wake is when people go to a deceased person's home or a funeral parlor to pay their last respects. A funeral parlor is a place where the preparation of the corpse for burial takes place. Part of the preparation can be dressing the deceased, doing their makeup, and placing them in a coffin for people to see. Some people do have a closed casket wake, where you can't see the dead person. Some people are not even choosing coffins for their dearly departed loved ones. In the United States, more and more families are choosing not to have traditional wakes. There is a recent trend of people having non-traditional wakes with the deceased person posed, doing something they loved doing when they were alive. For example, a family in New Orleans had their dead loved one posed at a table with a cigarette between her fingers and a can of beer. One funeral home in Puerto Rico has become famous for its non-traditional wakes. It all started in 2008 when a family asked for their dead loved one to be propped up against the wall of their home for the wake. When a paramedic died, his family had his dead body in the driver's seat of an ambulance. Another family had a man propped up in a fake boxing ring for his wake. One dead man was posed on top of his motorcycle. Recently, a grandmother was posed sitting in her rocking chair. These non-traditional wakes have their critics though. Some people think they are disrespectful. They think of death as a solemn and sad occasion, not a time to pose the dead as if they were toys. Fans feel it helps them remember the dead as they were when they were alive. Homelessness in Los Angeles. It is very common to see homeless people on the streets of Los Angeles. This is a problem that has persisted in the city since the beginning of the 20th century. Back in that time, California was known for offering many job opportunities in farming, and many young men were hopping on trains from all over the country to arrive in Los Angeles. Unfortunately, many of those men often ended up finding themselves without a job, a place to stay, or even food to eat. To help these people, many churches began to establish shelters in the area of Los Angeles that would eventually become downtown. Even as the farm landscape changed to a big city environment, these shelters remained a refuge for many individuals that found themselves homeless. Nowadays, the homeless population of Los Angeles is made up of much more than just young men looking for work. Many economic and social changes have resulted in both men and women of all ages turning to the streets of Los Angeles. Some of them are there as a result of substance abuse that has left them moneyless and jobless. Others are veterans from various wars that cannot find the resources to get back to their normal lives. Additionally, many of these people suffer from mental disabilities that limit them from finding a job or being accepted in the rest of society. Since there are a lot of different causes that lead to homelessness, it is easy to see why finding solutions to helping all of the homeless people is so difficult. Although there are many programs that focus on providing the homeless food daily, It is much harder to find programs that try to assist the homeless in finding jobs and stable housing in order to finally find a solution that will effectively help decrease the number of homeless people in the city. A lot more individualized attention must be placed on individuals based on their physical and mental health and circumstance. Paramedics, some of the everyday heroes in the United States, are the country's paramedics. These young men and women are usually the first people who respond to medical emergencies suffered by citizens. Paramedics must complete a very extensive physical training program that is designed to weed out those who cannot make the cut. A paramedic must be in fit condition and be mentally strong to perform his or her duties in the face of danger. Many of these heroes must endure life-threatening situations when responding to emergencies. Paramedics are usually attached to a county or city fire department, but there are also some private paramedic organizations. In Southern California, there are 2 primary schools for paramedic training. They are UCLA's Daniel Freeman Paramedic Program and the Paramedic Training Institute. Both of these schools provide candidates for the Los Angeles County and City Fire Departments. To become a paramedic for a county or city organization, candidates must also pass a psychological screening and a physical training program. Some of the equipment paramedics carry is very specialized. They carry basic and advanced life support gear, such as forcible entry tools, so they can reach people in peril, saws to cut through obstacles, and other emergency equipment. Paramedics provide a valuable service to the communities they serve. They must be certified in cardiopulmonary resuscitation, CPR techniques, and be trained to handle all situations. Some paramedics are trained to respond to what is called mass casualty incidents, MCI. These emergencies occur whenever there is a tragic event such as the September 11, 2001 attacks on the country, and other emergencies like earthquakes, mudslides, or floods. Paramedics can also be sent to emergency situations by citizens who call the 911 emergency phone number. September 11th, one of the darkest days in American history, was September 11, 2001. This is a day that will live in infamy for most Americans. It was the most tragic day in the history of the country since December 7, 1941, when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. September 11th was the day Muslim extremists hijacked 4 commercial airliners in an attempt to destroy the American spirit by slamming those jets into 4 buildings. 3 of the 4 jets reached their targets, while one was stopped by a group of everyday heroes who gave their lives for their country. In the early morning hours on September 11, 2001, American Airlines Flight 11 slammed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. A few minutes later, Flight 175, also an American Airlines flight, struck the South Tower. Both suicide attacks brought the towers down, but not immediately. It took time for the extreme heat from the burning jet fuel to weaken the towers to their eventual collapse. At about the same time, American Airlines Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon, which is a government building in the country's capital, Washington, D.C. The 4th flight, United Airlines Flight 93, was also headed for the capital city. Most people think its target was either the Capitol building or the White House, the president's home. A group of brave passengers, upon hearing the news of what was happening in the country, decided to take down the giant airplane, even though they knew they would not survive. They stormed the cockpit and took the controls from the hijackers. The plane flew out of control, crashing into a field in the state of Pennsylvania, where all passengers were killed. In all, about 3,000 Americans lost their lives on that day. But the American spirit was not suppressed. Those responsible for the attacks were quickly dealt with, and the country soon began its journey to recovery. September 11, 2001, a day America will never forget: the California redwoods and giant sequoias. Some of the most majestic landscape views in California are the Great California Redwood and Sequoia trees. These trees can be seen up close at Sequoia National Park in the southern Sierra Nevada mountain range of Visalia. This Central California region boasts more than 400,000 acres of natural beauty that is uniquely Californian. The park is known as the Land of the Giants because of its beautiful trees. The landscape features great mountains, foothills, deep canyons, a large cavern system, and of course, the world's largest trees. The park sits side by side with Kings Canyon National Park in the stunning San Joaquin Valley. Sequoia National Park was officially established as a national park in the 1890s. It features 14 campsites that include picnic tables, fire rings for outdoor cooking, and food storage boxes. It is a great place for a family vacation, with many of its campsites open year-round. But the most popular attractions are its forests. The ancient trees are some of the oldest living organisms on Earth and draw millions of visitors worldwide. Redwood trees can reach heights of more than 375 feet. They are closely related to the giant sequoia trees and are often mistaken for each other. They both are uniquely Californian, as they do not grow naturally in any other region in the world. Redwood trees live up to 2,000 years and have branches that grow up to 5 feet in diameter. Its bark can grow up to 12 inches thick. The giant sequoia trees can live up to an astonishing 3,000 years and have branches up to 8 feet in diameter. Its bark can grow to an amazing thickness of 3 feet. Both trees have dark brown bark and look very similar, but the redwood thrives in coastal climate, while the sequoia exists in more mountainous areas. In either case, they are a must-see California attraction. The California Highway Patrol. There are many law enforcement agencies in the United States, and especially in California. Some of the largest agencies in Southern California are the Los Angeles Police Department and the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Both of these police forces are some of the largest in the country. They handle a full range of police duties, ranging from traffic citations to murder, rape, and robbery cases. There are also a number of smaller police agencies operating side by side with the LAPD and LA County Sheriff's Department. Cities, such as Monterey Park, have their own police force, while smaller cities depend on the Sheriff's Department for their law enforcement needs. Because of the unique nature of the state, California created the California Highway Patrol. The CHP, as it is usually called, is a police agency that is entrusted with patrolling the vast number of freeway miles that exist in California. The state was built during a time of great mobility, after the advent of the personal vehicle. Because of this, the state has more freeway miles than any other states in the United States, with the exception of Texas. However, California has the most licensed drivers, and by far, the most registered vehicles. This made it necessary to create a police force dedicated to its highways. CHP officers are endowed with the same powers other police officers have. However, they do not have a crime investigation team for any offense other than traffic-related crimes. Whenever the CHP first responds to a crime that is not traffic-related, its officers perform the same duties a regular officer does. It then turns investigations over to the LAPD or Sheriff's Office, depending on the location of the crime. The CHP has a long and storied history. Many young Californians, both male and female, are attracted to the CHP and enroll into its academy in Sacramento, the state's capital. The Golden Gate Bridge. One of the most beautiful and recognizable California landmarks is the Golden Gate Bridge in the city of San Francisco. The bridge spans the San Francisco Bay and is part of a network of 5 main bridges that cross the bay in the San Francisco and Oakland area. The region with its bay has one of the most breathtaking views in the world, and part of which is the historic Golden Gate Bridge. It is perhaps the most iconic and recognizable landmark in the entire United States. Construction on the bridge began in 1933, while the country was deeply mired in the Great Depression. Many people think the bridge was, in large part, responsible for the country's economic recovery because of the number of workers employed. The material used to build the bridge also contributed to the manufacturing, distribution, and transportation. The bridge connects San Francisco to the San Francisco Peninsula in Marin County through both California State Route 1 and US Route 101. Before the bridge was built, the only way to get from one location to the other was to go around the bay or to take a ferry across. Construction of the bridge was controversial at the time. Many thought the project was simply too complex, expensive, and dangerous to build. The construction plan approved concentrated on safety for the workers who would be involved in the construction, and it worked well until February 17, 1937. Remarkably, only one worker had died up to that date, but on that date, a scaffolding collapsed, killing 10 men in the tragic accident. The bridge was completed later that year and has been in use ever since. It is one of California's great landmarks, with people from all over the world drawn to see it. The San Francisco Cable Cars. One of the most historic and significant landmarks in the United States is the San Francisco Cable Car System. It is the world's only manually operated cable car system. It is run by the San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency. The system dates back to 1878, when the California Street Line first opened. In all, there are 3 lines currently operating in the city, and boasts a fleet of 12 cable cars. There used to be 23 lines in use throughout the city, connecting the diverse communities that make up San Francisco. The open-air cars are a major tourist attraction and are still used by San Francisco commuters on a daily basis. The simple reason cable cars were first used in the city was because of its landscape. San Francisco is very hilly, which makes it impossible for municipal buses to scale. The solution for this problem was the cable car. These cars are literally pulled by cable up and down the steep hills of the city, making it easier for people to get from one end of the city to the other. There are 2 types of cars in use today: single-ended cars and double-ended cars. The single-ended cars have open-sided sections with seats that face outward to the street. The rear section of these cars is enclosed with seats facing the interior of the car. These cars seat 29 passengers. They travel in both directions by using a swivel-based turntable that turns the car at the end of the line. The double-ended cars are a bit larger and can hold up to 68 passengers. It has 34 seats and grips for an additional 34 standing passengers. The best feature of these cars is the pure fun they are to ride. People who ride the San Francisco cable cars are stepping into part of California's history. Car chase television. Car chases in the Los Angeles area are a fairly regular occurrence. In 2013, there were over 700 car chases. Car chases also have become a source of entertainment. Many car chases are captured on video and broadcast live as they are happening. No one has to wait until the 6 o'clock news comes on anymore to find out about what happened. People can tune into their local broadcast television station and see it happening in real time. These car chases are often captured with the help of a news channel's helicopter. The helicopter follows and films the chase through the streets, reporting what streets the cars are passing through. People like watching car chases for many reasons. They are intense and filled with drama. A viewer never knows what will happen next. Will the driver give up easily? Does the driver have a weapon? Will the driver get into an accident? Will someone crossing the street get hit? Tune in to find out. Many channels see their ratings soar when they air car chases. They are just giving the people what they want. Police are not always happy with the media covering car chases live on the air. Police worry that people trying to escape enjoy the attention. Police feel that broadcasting car chases encourages people to escape. Police also worry that the attention brings innocent bystanders to the street. Someone could get hurt. The media insists they have the right to show car chases. They feel they are informing the public. Car chases happen for many reasons. Sometimes police will chase someone who stole a car. Other times, the police may try to do a routine traffic stop. However, the driver with the broken taillight may have a warrant for arrest, so off he drives.